PSG want to sign Marcus Rashford as they advance talks with the Rashford camp. Man United at this time are relaxed and very coy to respond to this news. The party line will be he is not for sale, but Marcus Rashford is interested in the move to Paris Saint-Germain. The Parisians seem very excited. Lots of mock-ups, lots of comps, lots of pictures of Rashford wearing a PSG shirt are being made. And what will Man United do if they accept the bid? Will it just be Gakpo they go after, or will they reignite the pursuit of Antony and bring them both to Manchester United with the funds raised? We're going to delve into that story. We're also looking at Wesley Fofana and the demand of an £80 million record-breaking bid that they are stating, and I say they in Leicester are stating must happen. We're also going to take a look at Youri Tielemans, his frustration with Arsenal, touch on Aubameyang, take your calls, and much, much more. As you know, we're sponsored by OneFootball for these morning shows. Let's delve into this. Let's smash the like and the share button. Let's go. The Football Terrace is sponsored by OneFootball. Make sure you scan the QR code on the screen during the stream or click on the link in the description below to download this brilliant football app. You can select your favorite club and get all the latest news, transfer stories, starting lineups, and match content in relation to whichever team you support across Europe and the world. Also, for the 2022-23 season, all Serie A games are being streamed live on OneFootball, and you can get instant near live clips as well. So you can keep up to date with one of the biggest leagues in the world. And as mentioned, it's free. It doesn't cost you a penny. So what are you waiting for? Get the app downloaded now. Use the link in our description below or the QR code on the screen throughout the course of this video. Make sure like buttons are being smashed as ever. Let's do this. As you can see here, sorry, the camera got moved the wrong way. Marcus Rashford to PSG is something PSG want. It's something they want to do. It's a player they want to bring into the football club. And yeah, this news is coming out in droves this morning. The Independent here stating that Rashford's representatives will meet with Paris Saint-Germain in Paris today to discuss this potential transfer, to look at this deal and see how they can bring it to light. And the big question for Man United fans remains, should Man United sell him? And we spoke about it on the Top 6 show briefly last night. Should Manchester United sell Marcus Rashford? Of course, certain protagonists, certain United fans on social media, you know the answer. You know what the Martial fans are going to say. You know what the likes of Johnny are going to say. You know what the like. I'm not without even checking. I know what Ransom Bance is going to say. I know what certain United fans will say. You know, absolutely 100% sell him. He is not good enough. He isn't of the standard that Manchester United need at the football club. And to a degree, I do understand this. Like, legitimately, I do understand this. I do know why people would look at this deal in that way and say, is he really what Man United need? Is he really good enough? You know, is his mind in this game? And I stand with that. There is the other side to this, which I've spoken about many times. Do Man United need a sacrificial sale? Do Manchester United need a player who is moved on almost as a gesture? It's a way of ending this really negative era that the club has gone through. These are some of the big questions that need to be discussed. These are some of the big elements that need to be looked at in relation to this deal. The third point is there a player in there? Is there a player in there? If Man United let him go and he is reignited at PSG, if he starts scoring goals, if he starts performing well, are Man United fans then going to go, oh, what have we done? We've almost forced and bullied out of the football club a really talented player. Maybe if we'd have loved him rather than hated him, he would have refound that form at Manchester United. So it becomes a big predicament for the club. It becomes a big predicament for the manager. It's a big predicament for the board. Do you allow this sale to go on? And I think the most important element on top of this is who comes in to replace him. There is, of course, talk of Cody Gakpo being a signing that could come in to Manchester United. But remember, we were linked with Gakpo before these talks of Rashford leaving came up. I'm seeing people say, that's it, sell Rashford, get Gakpo, great replacement. Where's the backup? This isn't defending Rashford. This is about looking at the club. What Man United need to be demanding is that we go back in for players like Antony. There's talk that we've given up on him. Well, if you're selling Rashford, I know it says 1 year left on his deal. We've got a contract extension in that, so it's 2 years on paper. I'm saying PSG, you got money, you got peas. You know, we're talking 50 million plus is what we should be demanding for him. There's also an irony in that. If he's worth 50 million plus, he should be good enough for Man United, but a lot think he isn't. If Man United sell him, there is no way, shape, or form he can go without the club spending big money to replace him on at least 2 players. You need an actual replacement, and we still need additions. So we have to be very careful here as United fans that we don't get too giddy in the excitement of wanting Rashford gone because it's going to make us feel better, but we end up cutting off our nose to spite our face. So I want to know what you think and feel about this deal. What should happen? Let's delve into your comments and take a look. Remember, you can scan that QR code on the screen, download the OneFootball app. All Serie A football in the UK and Ireland is free throughout the course of this season. All games being streamed live on the app, near live clips and highlights produced for you as well, plus football news and much more. So get OneFootball downloaded. What are you all saying, though, about this deal? I want to know where you're coming from in relation to this. Harrison Lang here says, wait, PSG hired the best director of football in the world at identifying talent in Campos, and all of a sudden they want Rashford. This is the same guy Mushrooms cried about not getting interesting. I mean, that's the defense of this. If PSG want him and they're prepared to spend big money, why would you let him go? The only reason I would let him go, and this is my honest take, this is my opinion on this, it's if the club don't think he can be rejuvenated at Man United. Sometimes a change is as good as a rest. Sometimes you need a new environment, a new surroundings, new fans, that sense of feeling fresh. We've all gone through this in our careers. Depends how old you are. Like if you're a younger person, you may not have gone through this. Maybe you moved schools and went through this process. But I've been in jobs or departments where you just feel stale. You've had problems with your boss or problems with colleagues, and you kind of feel like I'm not going to progress here. I can't really get back to feeling like me. Then you move, you change jobs, you change positions, you change departments. It's a whole new surrounding, and there's a sense of rebirth. There's a sense of I can reinvent myself. There's almost all the pressures of the previous regime are gone, and you feel free to start performing again. And maybe that is what Marcus Rashford needs in this regard. Jello here says, Terry, for me, it's not that he's not good enough for United. It's just that his time at United has been ruined and his confidence is gone. He needs a fresh start. And from United side, they need to replace him. Leroy Sané. United are not signing Leroy Sané this summer, not without Champions League football. So I think that's a deal that Man United fans could almost forget about in many ways. Rashford will be warming the bench at Paris Saint-Germain. Well, if you read the articles, what they're actually talking about is trying to get him now as a long-term replacement for Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi is probably going to leave at the end of his contract. There's talk about him actually going back to Barcelona. So they need a replacement for him. Now, of course, he's never going to be as good. When I say replacement for Messi, don't do the like-for-like comparison, but there we go. Comment here from Abdullah says, Man United are keen to agree a new contract with Marcus Rashford. Sources have told Rob Dawson. Well, of course, listen, there's a lot of people that also think this is a ploy to get a new deal. I don't think it's a ploy. Listen, it would take Man United one phone call to work out if Marcus Rashford and PSG was a real link. This is what I'm talking about. This is what this deal comes down to. It isn't about whether you or I think he's good enough for Man United. That's not going to be considered by Ten Hag, by John Myrtle, by the Glazers. It's not going to be considered by Rashford. They're going to look at this and go, can we rejuvenate him? Because if Man United can get Rashford back to his best, so it doesn't matter how good you think he is, if you can get him back to his best of scoring and creating over 30, 35, 40 goals per season, scoring and creating, you're talking about a player in the modern day game that's worth 80, 90 million pounds plus. Man United would rather keep that and rejuvenate it than sell. That's the decision that has to be made. Can he be fixed, essentially? Can he be brought back? Can he get back to the peak of his powers? That is the big question that needs to be answered. And it can only be answered by Manchester United. It can't be answered by anybody else. It legitimately cannot be answered by anybody else other than essentially Eric Ten Hag and Rashford need to sit down. They need to go through this, and they need to discuss it. Sammy here says, you said once, if it was for the better of the club to sell Rashford, United should do it. I've been agreed with that opinion since you said it. And I think that's my point there, Sammy. Like, there's me as an individual, I would like to see Rashford stay and recapture his form. However, there is this train of thought that the club, again, it's about someone quote tweeted me yesterday saying, well, you said the club needs to be ruthless with Ronaldo and sell him. He's actively pushing for a move away. He's 37 years of age, and there is no future with Ronaldo. You could sell him at the time we were talking, there was talk of a £25 million fee and saving £26 million a year in salary. For me, he should have been sold, and we should have used that money to invest in the future in somebody like a Benjamin Sesko. Rashford's a different scenario because he's still in his early mid-20s, which means if you let him go and he reignites himself and has 7-8 years at Paris Saint-Germain, scoring and assisting 30-plus goals a season, winning trophies, tearing it up, you have let an asset go. The question remains, when I say the betterment of Man United, can United get him back to his best? That's the decision here. If they can, then of course he stays. Why sell somebody that for 2 years running was in the top 3 left attackers in Europe's top 4 leagues in terms of outputs? Why would you sell that individual? You wouldn't. But if you can't get Rashford back and he performs again for another year, another 2 years at the same level as the last 18 months, you're done. You're finished. You can't get a penny for him. So United need to make the right decision for themselves. It isn't as clear cut as just, I don't like him, he should go. That isn't going to be in Man United's thought process. It's about, can they get him back to his very, very best? Man United will keep Rashford due to his commercial revenue, 300k a week contract incoming. And do you know what, James? This is the thing. If they end up offering him this new big mega money deal and he doesn't deliver, and that's the big question here, and he doesn't deliver, that's when you know Man United are washed. They've got to get this decision right. And we won't know whether the decision is right until essentially later on down the line. We won't know whether the decision is right until Manchester United are in a position to until later on down the line when we see the performances, the potential improvements within Marcus Rashford, then we will see. Do I think Rashford deserves a new deal? No, I don't think he deserves a new deal. 110% right now, Rashford doesn't deserve a new deal at Man United. It would be gross negligence at this point to give him a new deal. I would want to see sustained improvement for over a 6-month period before we even entertain those conversations. But that is why, if PSG are interested now, you have to make a solid decision. If we can get 50 million for him and go and get Anthony and Gakpo, will Man United be in a better position in 12 months' time than re-signing Rashford? That is the question. And some of you will say, yes, I think we will. Some of you will say, no, I don't think we will be, which is fine. But this is when it comes down to, if Ten Hag's being given the anonymity and the power here, that's the decision. Who and what is the best choice here to be made? No, United have ruined him, Terry. United are a mess. He got 1 year left, Terry. Granted, they can probably activate the 1 year extension they have got. We've got a poll running currently here on YouTube, and it currently says 68% think selling Rashford is not a mistake. They believe that selling Rashford would be the absolute right thing to do. So I do want your take. I do want your thoughts. I do want your feelings on that, people, this morning. Selling Marcus Rashford, is that the right thing for Manchester United Football Club to do? Who should come in and replace? And what I haven't seen from a lot of people is thinking this through. Who does the club need to replace him with? Where does that money need to be spent? I think all these elements are very, very, very key indeed when it comes to the future of this deal, the future of this player, and much, much more. I also want to speak this morning about Wesley Fofana as well. Make sure you're smashing like and share buttons, people. Let's do this. There's talk this morning that Wesley Fofana is frustrated at Arsenal. You can find out all this news on the OneFootball app. Scan the QR code that's been on the screen or click on the link in the description below to download it. Remember, as we told you, free Serie A football all season on the app. So make sure you get it downloaded. There's claims that the midfielder is annoyed by the lack of Arsenal approach. And I think what we're now seeing from the Youri Tielemans camp is this element of, I think there's this element of kind of, we're going to push hard and we're going to try to force Arsenal Football Club into making a bid for us. But the reason that I bring up this situation is because Leicester are demanding lots of money for all their players. And the only one that they're actually willing to reduce their demands on is Youri Tielemans. And there isn't the interest in the bids coming in. So he's starting to become very, very frustrated indeed at what's going on at Leicester. Leicester are, of course, asking and demanding a world record-breaking fee for Wesley Fofana of 80 million. They've already turned down 2 bids from Chelsea. They've turned down a couple of bids already from Newcastle for James Maddison. But you've got Youri Tielemans sitting there saying, well, Maddison's getting bids coming in. Fofana's getting bids coming in. But I'm sitting here with nothing going on. Nobody seemingly interested. What is the deal? What's going on? Why is nobody coming in? Why is nobody kind of chatting to me in this way? And I want to get people's thoughts and I want to get people's feelings on this in relation to, did I say Wesley Fofana annoyed with Arsenal? Sorry, I read the wrong headline. Look, it's a Freudian slip. It's a mistake. I always get kind of weirded out when people like, you say the wrong name on something and people like focus on it. It's like, you know what I'm talking about. It doesn't need to be said. But this is the thing for me. I kind of look at this situation at Leicester. There's a hemorrhaging of players. They're working on loads of exits. Obviously, they're probably behind the scenes working on who they're going to use the money on to replace these players with. You've got Youri Tielemans in his camp now calling out Arsenal, please come and get us. You've got Fofana in his camp now stating, come on, let's get this deal. Let's get this deal done. Let's get it over the line. But the big question is, will Arsenal bid for Youri Tielemans? And will Chelsea Football Club make this record-breaking bid? This record-breaking bid for Wesley Fofana. That's the big question that needs to be kind of looked at in this. And look, let's start with the Chelsea situation with Fofana. I 110% think they will make this £80 million bid, or a bid in terms of the structure that will be able to get this done. I really, really do think that Chelsea are going to go the full hog on this. The fact they've already put these 2 bids in, the fact that they've already made so many inroads into this deal, I think it's kind of almost inevitable that they're going to make this bid. I think it's almost inevitable that they're going to go out of their way and they're going to go and get that done. I really, really do. Is he worth the money? We've asked that question 2 or 3 times. I don't think it needs to be requested again. Seemingly, Chelsea believe he's worth that money. Thomas Tuchel is in love with him. Thomas Tuchel wants to bring him in. Thomas Tuchel is dreaming of adding him to Koulibaly, adding him to Thiago Silva. And you look at that as a back 3, which is pretty much, we believe, how Chelsea are going to play for the majority of this season. It's sensational. It is sensational. Quality on the ball, speed, power, athleticism, great positioning. You look at that as a back line, and it's going to be very hard to break them down. You throw Cucurella into that left fullback role, or Ben Chilwell. You throw Reece James with the backup of Aspie on the right-hand side. Suddenly, the back line of Chelsea is looking as strong as we've seen it in many, 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 many years. And that gives the base and the foundation for Chelsea to progress themselves from. It gives Chelsea the ability to say, okay, well, this is what we've got now. We can move on from this position. We can improve from this position, and we can make ourselves, we can really start the season. And all of that comes at the same sort of time as there's a lot of negativity surrounding Chelsea. There's a lot of people, I've read some stories today, pundits and ex-pros are like, I worry about them ahead of the game against Chelsea, against Tottenham. Are they really ready? Are they going to be able to deliver? Are they really good enough? Is Thomas Tuchel good enough? Is the squad good enough? And I think the squad's already good enough to beat a team like Tottenham this weekend. But you look at adding Wesley Fofana to this, then they're going to move on. They're still chasing De Jong. They're still going to go after Aubameyang. They're going to be serious. They're going to be serious. Erin here says, Fofana is needed. I don't care about the finances. Also, De Jong would add great quality and consistency to our midfield, which it is dying for, is what Erin's got to say here. Terry, the centre back who left Chelsea for Barca on a free, has changed his Twitter profile from Barca back to Chelsea. Barca have tomorrow to register him, or he leaves for free. I didn't know about him changing his profile, but yeah, we know that they've got their issues there, and they're probably not going to register all their new players tomorrow. So it's going to be interesting to see the direction that goes in. It really, really is. Fofana deal is taking long because Tuchel was trying to find Timo to tell him to find to find another club. A good little bit of banter there. A few people want to speak Tielemans here. Tielemans is overrated. And I see a lot of people saying that recently. Like, I've seen a lot of gooners come out and say that he's actually overrated, but they weren't saying that when the deal was reported as imminent, sort of 3 to 4, longer than that now, about 2 months ago, when it was reported as imminent and it was going to be a done deal. At that point, he was this brilliant player. Oh my God, look what he's going to do to our midfield. Now I'm seeing a little bit more of that. I'm seeing a bit more of, oh, maybe he's a little bit overrated. Maybe he isn't quite as good as some of us initially thought that he may be. But yeah, we will see what happens there in relation to Yeremy Tielemans. Daniel comes in and says here that Yeremy Tielemans is not overrated. I don't think he is. I think he's a very talented football player. I think there's a little bit of an issue with his discipline. I think there's a little bit of an issue with his overall kind of fitness at times. But as a general rule, I don't think he's an overrated footballer. By the way, people, make sure you're smashing the like and share buttons. We released our first head-to-head yesterday for our members. We are going to keep gifting away these memberships to you. If we hit 850 likes, we'll give away some free memberships for you this morning. So make sure you're smashing the like button to get it past 850 for us while we are live. Tielemans is a top player, is what ML Raggy's got to say here. Yeah, of course he is. Of course he's a top player. And, you know, I can understand his frustration as well, Yeremy Tielemans. Of course I do, because he's kind of in a situation where and I want to make sure I say this in the right way. I don't want to be disrespectful. He has felt like this deal is going to happen. He has felt like this deal was imminent. He has felt like this deal was on the cards for a long time. And then suddenly it's gone. It's taken away from him. It's not going to happen. It can't happen. It's suddenly he's not wanted by Arsenal, or they're calling their interest, or they're looking at other people. Of course, that's going to frustrate you. Of course, that's going to put you into a position where you're angry. Why would it not? You know, it's going to make him frustrated. I do think though, and I do stand by this, Manchester United should be making an approach here. If this £25 million fee is true, get it done. Get it over the line. Get it finished. Like, what are we waiting for? It makes almost no sense to me to not react. Legitimately, almost no sense to not react. To not go out there and buy this guy. Genuinely mean that. £25 million, with or without Frankie de Jong coming in. At £25 million, you've got to go and get it done. Surely, you've got to go and get that done. I can't imagine a world or a reason as to why we wouldn't. Rabiot over Tielemans. Maybe, but again, even then, Rabiot, Tielemans, maybe you can get Ruben Neves' price down. You could probably bring them all in now for like 80, 90 million total. Maybe Man United don't have the money. But suddenly you had those three midfielders in. It's a far cry from what we have now. Is it enough to make us Premier League champions, European champions? No. Is it enough to help make top four? Yes. Is it enough to help us maybe win a Europa League? Yes. It's good enough to do that. And then what you do over the next couple of years is you add to it. Maybe if you make the top four, or you win the Europa League and you're in the Champions League, then you can go and try and add a de Jong level central midfielder to your team. And it grows from that point. Remember, Man United are not in a position, never were, and it was never going to happen, where they were going to sign players this summer that got their squad into a position where it was fixed forever. That was never, ever, ever, ever going to happen. It never was. And I think that's kind of been, I feel like it's kind of been a little bit like overlooked by a lot of people. As if Man United were going to be Premier League title challenging ready by the end of this window, which is a crazy thought in many ways. Crazy thought in many ways. But if you want to call in, people, we have shared the call-in link in the live comment section. I'd like to hear from you this morning. I'd like to hear your thoughts, and I'd like to hear your feelings. United would be stupid not to buy Savic for that price. Even with De Jong, they should still get him. Look, I think that there are options out there for Manchester United. I think that they may not necessarily need. United need to look at some of these other options and buy them. Sorry, I just got a message, and I needed to reply about an appointment. Sorry. Look, Man United, if he's available for £42 million, if Tielemans is available for 25 million, if these players are out there at these prices, Man United should be buying them because they are better than what we've got. And that is the key here. They are better than what Man United have got. So to kind of sit there and act like you can't buy them or you're not, it's just crazy to me. The question here, why didn't Man United go in for Bissouma? I don't have an answer. The only answer I can give you is stupidity. Like, not buying Bissouma is crazy. Now, I know why. They want De Jong to play that holding role. And that's what they went in for. So they made the decision that we are going to get De Jong, so they've ignored other players in that position. That's why. That is essentially the reason. They've made that choice. They've made that decision. And the only way that decision is made right is by signing De Jong or a player that is as good, if not better, than Bissouma. That's the only way you get out of that decision. Now listen, Spurs might have got him over us anyway because they're in the Champions League. There's a feel-good factor, Antonio Conte. So maybe we couldn't have signed him irrespective. But I think we should have done it. I really do think United should have been in for him. I think a lot of clubs should have been in for him. There's no doubt about it at all. Did you watch Tielemans last season, Terry? He wasn't even good. I disagree. I think he was good last year. I feel that he's gone a little bit stale at Leicester. I feel that he needs that move. He needs that change. He needs to go in a new direction. And I felt like that for a while when it comes to him. So yeah, from my point of view, I don't think Tielemans is this bad move. Some people are making him out to be. Tielemans wants Arsenal over Man United. Yes, he does. But if Arsenal don't make a move and he still wants to leave, there's an option there. And I think Man United should test the water. I do think Man United should be testing the water with that deal, just to see what Arsenal do, just to see what the player does in that relation. Terry, I agree with you 100%. Any other midfield option is better than McFred. We are dead and tired of those retired young football players in Fred and McSauce. I don't quite know what you mean by retired. You mean they're so bad they play like they're retired? Is that what you mean? Is that the joking? I'm trying to get it, my friend. But thank you for the comment. Tielemans destroyed United last season. Either way, United lose the midfield battle 80% of games. It's disgusting. And that's exactly it when it comes to Man United. They do. It's one of the reasons why I still think Arsenal need him. Thomas Partey is very, very good. We have no idea yet how good Fabio Vieira is going to be, but he's a more advanced midfielder. In terms of that midfield battle, Xhaka still loses that battle a lot. They still need more than Xhaka in that box-to-box role. They just do. And it strikes me as strange that they're not going to spend the money. We did see the report yesterday from Sam Collins, who suggested that Arsenal are not going to spend the money on both a midfielder and a winger. They're working out if they don't find an adequate winger, they might go back in for Youri Tielemans. But I think Arsenal fans should feel a little bit shortchanged there because they were promised both. They absolutely were. Why would we want Tielemans when he wants Arsenal? Just shows he ain't ready for the pressure that comes with being a Red Devil. Well, that isn't the case, is it? That really isn't the case at all. But he wants Arsenal because of childhood reasons. Grew up an Arsenal fan, would love to go and play there, but he's also a professional. And, Raheem Sterling is a Man United fan. And I'm sure if the world was different and United's positioning was different, that could have been, we might have been able to sign him at some point in his career. But, since he's kind of been at the fore, Raheem Sterling, and been a star player, Man United haven't been good enough to attract someone like him. Now, getting him from Liverpool would have been nigh and impossible. Getting him from Man City also would have been very, very difficult. But the world's a strange place. Like, he grew up a Man United fan, but he signed for Liverpool and played for Man City. He's now gone to Chelsea. Like, yes, you can support a team and have a desire to be there at some point, but professionally, the world doesn't always work out that way. So Youri Tielemans wanting Arsenal shouldn't be an issue for Man United. If they want him and they can convince him to come, go and do it. The only element will be going in for him and then he rejects United for Arsenal. They won't want the PR element. We know how much fans cry like little babies over PR. Big crybabies, all of them. All of them. Dan Juma is available, Terry. Yes, he is. But what are you saying? Like, sometimes, guys, I want a bit more substance from you. You're the football terrorist community. You're the best in the world. Tell me what you mean by that. Are you saying we should buy him? How good is he? Where do you think he would play? Give me something. Come on, help make the conversation flow. Don't leave it all on me. Say more. Come on, my people. I don't think Eric Ten Hag will make it to January transfer window. You think Ten Hag's getting sacked by January? Now, this is again, I need you to delve into that deeper, brother. I need more substance than that. That's a throwaway comment. Delve in deeper for me. Explain why. I want detail, my friend. I want detail. I want detail. Let's have a look at some more of your comments coming through here. Arsenal are way ahead of United on a rebuild. Well, they should be, shouldn't they? You've been doing your rebuild for nearly 3.5, 4 years. Man United have been doing their rebuild for 8 weeks. Can you imagine if in 8 weeks Man United were in a better position than Arsenal? That would be, I mean, it wouldn't happen, but think about what you're saying there. Of course it should be. Of course it should be. You know, it's of course. It just, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I know Dan Jr. plays on the left. Give me more. Come on. Delve into more. What are you saying? I'm going to shout at you now. What are you saying? You saying we should sign him? Tell me more. Stop leaving these little comments. Speak. Come on. Terry, I gave you a good in-depth comment, but I don't read all the comments out because I can't see all of them. I can't see all of them. You know what I mean? And we prioritize members and super chats as well. But yeah, I wasn't responding to you, but that's that guy saying players aren't fit for United. Yeah, okay, I hear you, my guy. I hear you. Some of these comments are weird this morning. You guys are on a weird one today. Hold up, Terry. United have spent 900 million net in the past 10 years. Highest spenders in the Prem. What's that got to do with anything? What? But my point is, what is your point? We know this. What is your point? Come on, guys. You're actually all annoying me today. Why are you not saying anything with a point at the end of it? Make a point. Come on. I'm getting annoyed. None of you are making points. You're just saying bullshit. Come on. I am rattled. I'm really rattled this morning. Say something. Say something. I don't know what you're doing. You're not saying anything. It's crazy to me. Thank you very much, my guy here, for becoming an official member of the Football Terrace. Thank you very, very much indeed. Stop shouting. I'll stop shouting. I'll stop shouting when people stop saying nonsense. Say something. I get very annoyed with like sentences with no point. United spent 900 million net. Yeah, what are you saying? What's your point? Not that you're wrong. I'm not bothered about you saying it. I want to know what it's a bit like, I don't know. I just find it like, okay, how do I interact with something where I don't know what you're saying? Come on. I need more from you. You've got bigger brains than that. You've got bigger brains than that. You really, really have. You've much bigger brains than that. Terry, I'd rather watch paint dry on the wall than talk about United right now. Then cool. Then talk about something else. Say something else. Say something else. Come on, speak. Bro, but you're the expert. I'm a football fan like you. I'm giving you my opinions. I can just sit here and talk. I'm trying to interact with you. You've got to say something. Harrison here says United fans cry about Rabiot signing are the same ones who said go and get Paul Mitchell from Monaco, who is the one pushing Monaco to sign Rabiot. Maybe people see unlockable potential in him. Listen, I think that's a really good point. Like with Rabiot, there is a player in there. With Rabiot, there is a player who everybody expected to be at a much higher level and consistency of performance than we've seen. So you are right. I do believe that Man United see that they can get something out of this football player. It's just whether or not you believe they can. I think, Rashford in exactly the same situation of can we fix him? I've seen Mark Goldbridge tweet this morning. I want to read Mark Goldbridge's tweet out. He said United want Rashford to sign a new contract and value him at 120 million, apparently. Funny how Ronaldo can go for wanting to leave, but it's fine for Rashford with 2 years left on his contract talking to PSG. The club is completely broken. See, I kind of disagree with that take. It's a different scenario. Rashford's got a future. Ronaldo doesn't. What Man United are weighing up is a very simple option here. And it ties into this great Rabiot point. Someone made a point at last. And it ties into this point of if you let Rashford go and he rejuvenates himself, have you lost him? Have you lost that potential from your club? If Rashford was 33 and PSG wanted him and he had a year left on his contract, fine, let him go. There's no real future with the player. But if you let him go now and then his potential's unlocked by somebody else and he reaches the heights that people expected him to, you've let a massive asset go. Yes, you've got money in for him. You're not getting 120 million, by the way. You're getting 50, 60 million tops. Are you going to be cutting off your nose to spite your face? There is a fundamental difference between those two situations. I'm not suggesting United shouldn't sell Rashford. I'm suggesting it's a different thought process for fans and the club. Because I'm telling you, these same fans that want him out will be cussing and dissing the club if he goes somewhere else and starts performing and the players that we bring in to replace him don't. If Gakpo comes in as a replacement and isn't good enough, 110% people are going to turn on him. They're going to turn on the club. How dare we let Rashford go? And this happens. And when Chris Smalling was hounded out of Manchester United, Chris Smalling was chased out with dogs, security guards. Get him out. He's trash. A year and a half later, because he was one of the best centre-backs in Serie A, why do we let him go? He's better than what we've got. We should bring him back. Same with Memphis. I remember only last season people saying, oh, you know what? His team could really do with Fellaini back in it, a different option for us. Is it going to happen again with Rashford? That's a decision that Man United need to make about the player. So I think it's a very, very different scenario indeed. It really, really is. It really, really is. Let's go to some more of your comments here. I think Erik ten Hag will get fired if CR37 is there when the window shuts. Then Ten Hag will get fired by a January window. CR37 can't play in a Ten Hag system. Facts. So they'll sack the manager. That doesn't make any real sense to me, my friend. It just doesn't make any sense. Again, you've not given me a reason. CR7 staying is going to get him sacked. Why? See, this is what I'm going to coach you all here. Delve into that in more detail for me. Make that make sense. Because on a basic level, I don't understand why that gets him sacked. Are you suggesting that this is why people say, like, I need you to give me a point. So you're saying that the football will be bad because of Ronaldo. It won't work because of Ronaldo, so they'll sack the manager. But that makes no sense because that just means that once they get rid of Ronaldo, it will work. That's not going to happen. I'm sorry to say it, my friend. You're point blank wrong. If Ronaldo staying is the reason he gets sacked. Thank you very much to my guy here. Oh, then click on the link. Man like Yazin Mohammed for becoming an official member of the Football Terrace. Thank you, my friend. I really do appreciate that. Terry, question for you. Would you take SMS and Gakpo for De Jong and no forward? No, because that would be short-term thinking. We can get a different forward later on down the line, and I think Frankie de Jong is better than Milinkovic-Savic. So I wouldn't do a short-term gain against long-term gain. But yeah, I would take the second option there to have Frankie de Jong. You've got other windows to sign. It's not the final window that we're ever going to be able to manage ourselves in. So that is what I would do. Use your brain, Terry. It makes sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. If our system's working, but the only person ruining it is Ronaldo, the manager won't lose his job. They'll just replace Ronaldo at some point. He'll leave at the end of his contract. It's a nonsensical argument. It's a nonsensical argument, you know. Man United was a dream team for players. It was a dream come true to play for that club, but now it's so bad. Players not too excited to go there, other than money. Of course, I mean that's what happens when you fall from grace. I mean that's exactly what happens. It really, really is. Terry, what do you think of how Arteta dealt with Aubameyang? If you watched All or Nothing, I haven't watched any of All or Nothing yet. I haven't had a chance. I also don't like to watch things when I'm a bit of a weirdo. I don't like to watch things when everybody else is. Generally, I like to watch things in my own time. I don't really do the sheep thing. I don't kind of fluctuate to something and be attracted to something while everybody else is watching it. I'll wait until it's kind of not fashionable anymore or the hype's died down, then I'll do it. Just because I don't know, it's just a weird thing for me. I'm just not. When everybody was like, "Oh my god, Game of Thrones," I'll wait until Game of Thrones basically finished until I watched it, and then when everyone calmed down, I'll watch it now in my own time. I just don't kind of do the whole sheep thing, mob mentality. Just kind of find it really uncool. I find it really I believe doing trendy things is the most unfashionable and uncool thing you can do. I really do. So I'm going to watch it, but I'll watch it when it isn't trending, is essentially what I'm going to do. Just my way. Just my way. Something about doing things that everybody else is doing makes me feel icky. You know, like, have you ever, like, been to the gym, sweated a lot, and then, like, come home and fallen asleep, and you wake up and it feels like you've got like, a layer of ick all over your body, right? That's how I feel when I do things that are trending. Like, if I watched Love Island because everybody else is watching Love Island, it would make me physically feel like that. I can't do it. Like I can't be like everybody else. I'm a bit weird like that. It has a physical impact on me to follow a trend, but I'll watch it at some point and be able to answer those questions. Terry, do you watch football at the same time as everybody else? Of course I do that because it's live. You can't not watch live sport. As an example, I don't do it with everything. Stranger Things I watch when everybody else does because I'm absolutely addicted to it. But I might tweet every now and then, but there we go. I said, generally speaking, it's not something that I do. If it's something I can't help but do, then that's it. Like I go to the supermarket on a Saturday like everybody else as well. Do you know what I mean? Because I have to buy food. But as a general rule, I tend not to do it in life as an example. So there we go. Now, I'm not cool. It's just how I feel. It's just how it makes me feel. But there we go. And also, football isn't a trend. Football is a continual cycle as well. You don't trend towards football. Football's always on. And even when it's off, you've got the transfer window. It's a continual cycle. A trend is something more, it happens for like a month or two of the year and everyone goes to it. I just don't like doing it. It's just my way, really. But there we go. Terry, you think you are so special? No, I don't think I'm special at all. It's just my way, innit? Do you know what I mean? I don't, by the way, anyone who does it, I don't think wrong. I don't care. Like, this is the difference. Do you know what people do? Because the way the world is, they think everybody's trying to be Andrew Tate. I'm kind of like I'm not the antithesis to someone like Andrew Tate. I'm different in the sense of I've got my way of doing things. You've got your way of doing things. I think my way is right. I prefer my way, but I have no judgment of you for you doing the things the way you do. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't care. It's funny, really, because I was working with an editor not that long ago. Done some really good work. This was nothing to do with YouTube. It was in the banking industry. He done some really good work for us. And I'm giving you this example because I don't care about things. And halfway through the work, he told me that he was trans. And I told him I didn't care. And what I mean by that is, I was like, great, you don't need to tell me if you don't want to. Knowing or not knowing, it's not going to change how I look at you, how I talk to you. That's your life, right? So because it's your life, I'll let you crack on. You know, I'm just like that with everything. If you're someone that likes to do things in the trend, if you want to watch Love Island, if you want to watch All or Nothing at 6 a.m. when the new episode comes out, I don't think anything less of you or more of you. That's your life. I just don't like doing it. There's a difference there. Do you know what I'm saying? But what happens in this world is when you say I don't do something the same way as you, people get offended by it. What do you mean you don't do it that way? Why? I don't know. I like English fry-ups for breakfast. If you don't like any English food, I don't care. It doesn't change how I feel about it. I'm just very comfortable in myself. That's all it really is, my friend. So yeah, do I think I'm special? Absolutely not. I think I'm very normal. I think I'm very average, like everybody. I've got a saying I've always used. You know, like no one's that people aren't unique. People are what I call uniquely generic. Everyone thinks they're unique, but the longer you live, the more you go, oh, you remind me of my mate so-and-so. You'll always meet people where you go, you remind me of someone, you remind me of someone, you remind me of someone. Well, if everybody's reminding you of somebody, you can't be unique, can you? the people think everybody thinks they're unique and special. We're not really. We're not. So yeah, that's to answer your question, my friend. Some super chats here. Terry, with the whole CR7 situation, would selling him cause more problems at the club? Would maybe cause more player power problems than before? Yeah, I've spoken about this. I think that keeping Ronaldo is a mistake. I think keeping Ronaldo could be a problem. I think keeping Ronaldo could create Manchester United some real issues moving forward. It really could. I don't think you can get away from that. It's something United have got to address and be sure about. What are United without Ferguson? Really, a team with a plank. Hey, what is that all about, bruv? I didn't read that until I put it up on the screen. That's a disgrace. Absolute disgrace. It just goes to show, though, doesn't it? Like, you know, we might be Man United and we're in the mud, but you still have to attack our history, attack our, you know, our fallen heroes in the Busby Babes. But there we go. That's on you. That's on you. You know, if you feel that that's the right thing to come out and say, then that's on you, my friend. Totally agree with you, Terry. Nothing more stupid than a grown man doing TikTok challenges for clout. So again, it's not something I would do, but each to their own. If that's what somebody enjoys doing, then let them kind of do it. Right? It's one of them ones. It's one of them ones. Terry, you should play Martinez at CDM. I don't think we're going to do that, but I do understand why people think it. But yeah, there we go. I'm very worried for the game ahead of the. Sorry, I can't speak this morning. Sorry, I'm very worried for the games ahead of this season. Yeah, I get that. I get why people are worried. I get why people are concerned. I get why people are sort of not in a great space when it comes to Man United right now. I would just say to a degree, relax a little bit. I think Man United will get better. I have faith still in Erik ten Hag. Do I have faith that the rebuild will be seen through to completion where we're back ready to challenge? Everybody knows my answer to that is absolutely not. Why is it absolutely not? Because Man United can't be trusted to rebuild anything. And we've never been trusted to rebuild anything because we've never been able to rebuild anything. So I'm still skeptical over that. And I think all Man United fans should remain skeptical. Should remain skeptical over that. In my opinion, I really think that they should. I'm glad you guys are actually making some points now. It's good to see. Let Rashford go elsewhere so that he can have a lot of games played and also change some league. I don't know what you mean. I really don't understand that. It's boring just being in England. What about France or Spain? Okay, I get what you mean now. I get your point now, my friend. Thank you. Have United got enough in them to turn this form around? The players who have always reverted to form. Well, hello, Josh. Good to have you back on the show, my friend. I think this, Josh. I think that Manchester United need to change it up. So I think you look at this weekend. Van der Beek should be starting. Jimmy Garner should be getting game time. I think you look at that attacking line, and for me, Rashford should be on the bench. Give a younger player an opportunity to come in and play. I think that if he's fit, Maguire comes out, try Varane with Martinez. I think that for me is what you need to do. Luke Shaw. I mean, these are a lot of changes. You look at Malacia. Malacia needs to be involved. You know, this kid looked really good in pre-season. He's not that young either at 22. He's not going to play worse than Shaw because Shaw's been awful for over 12 months. So I kind of look at it from the point of view of there's lots that can be done here by Manchester United. The manager now isn't going to make all them changes in one go. I think you make all them changes at once and you create a cohesive problem. But you need to start making 2 or 3 of those changes and slowly building your team. I think picking 80-90% the same players that failed for Ralph 80-90% of the same players that fouled for Ollie, that's poor. And I just don't think McFred should be picked again. I think McFred should die, as in the partnership should die. Nothing literal about it. And the team should move on from that point. I think that's fundamentally needs to happen. There we go. What's this? I know you drink, but do you bun the herb? No, I don't. It's not something I do. There we go. I want to see Garnacho start. A lot of people want to see him given. See, for me, he was the player on Sunday with 20 minutes, half an hour to go. He should have been the kind of individual given a game. He should have been the individual given an opportunity. He really, really should have been, in my opinion. KJ here says, with how everyone feels about United fans, rival media, could United get relegated? Fuck off. Fuck off. Shut up, KJ. I want Ten Hag to make wholesale changes against Brentford, actually makes these players accountable for bad performances, is what Josh has got to say. Yeah, listen, I wouldn't be adverse to seeing it. Will it work? We'll find out on the day. But you know what I don't want to see? I don't want to see Jimmy Gardner given one game, not be world class, and then not get any more game time. Like, I want to see a few other players given a real run. Like, Donny van der Beek's a prime example. I just want to see him given 4 or 5 games on the bounce to see whether he can find himself, to see whether he can get into a flow, whether he can get to grips with the speed. This kind of playing a little bit here, a little bit there, it's just frustrating for me. It's just a little bit frustrating in that regard. It really is. Terry, I'm confident in Garnacho. Love Rashford, but he should leave or try to get a loan, is what SP21 has got to say. Terry, question, bro. Aubameyang prefers to stay at Barca. Do you think Chelsea go for Cristiano? Listen, I still think Cristiano leaving Man United is an option. I think that Chelsea may come back in for him. I think there's always that potential, always that possibility. I think Aubameyang would be a better option for them, though. He's not as good as Ronaldo, but he's that little bit younger. You might get a couple more years out of him. Ronaldo, I really think, has got maybe 1 year, maybe 2 at a push left at the very, very highest level. So it's a real difficult one overall. But yeah, I think Chelsea could end up coming back in for him. I really, really do. I really feel that's a genuine, bona fideable possibility. It really, really is. It really is. In my opinion, Erik ten Hag did the McFred thing on purpose. He knows that that Donny can do a job, but after preseason, McFred did well. So now he will make the changes. I hope you're right, buddy. I legitimately hope I really hope that you're right. Terry, any news? De Jong alternatives lately? United slowly running out of time. Fix big midfield problems. I mean, there's the news has been out there around alternatives. Milinkovic Savic, his name's come up. Ruben Neves, his name's come up. Youri Tielemans' name's come up. Of course, there's Rabiot that Man United are looking for, but Rabiot is seen more of a to play instead of McTominay. That's kind of how that's been presented in the media, as it were. So, look, I think from my point of view, there are multiple options out there for Manchester United. It's just about finding the right one. From a DM point of view, there's not been very many DMs that we have been linked to apart from him, which is a concern. But maybe, as people have suggested, maybe Lisandro Martinez steps into that position for a period of time. I want to see him at centre back more. That's where he's been at his best at Ajax and the best in his career. But we will see. I have no faith until the Glazers are gone. I'm at the point where I see fans moaning and buying shirts. I have no energy for it. Much love to you. Appreciate the super chat, my friend. And I really do get that. I really do get where you're coming from with that. I really do. Harrison Narteri, because of Donny van der Beek played bad 5 times in a row, instead of calling him out on it, the fans just say, yeah, but McTominay is overrated, British lump. You can't criticize these players. Yeah, I get your point, but I don't care what these mushrooms say. I'm fair with all the players at the club. The scenarios are different. Like, people are calling me out. Oh, you said that the club should be ruthless with Ronaldo, but not with Rashford. I haven't said we shouldn't be ruthless with Rashford. I said there's a different type of decision, though. If Ronaldo had 2 years left on his contract and was 24 years of age, it's a different decision than a 37-year-old Ronaldo. To compare the two things is intellectually dishonest. And people know they're being intellectually dishonest, but that isn't what it takes to trend online. But I'm not going to change my opinion because popular people online say different things to me. I'm too strong of a man to do that. I'm just not going to do it. And I know the football terrorists, you guys watching are like that. Now, we might have different opinions, but just because I say it doesn't mean you're going to change your opinion. Why would you? That isn't what we're here for. We're here to all hold different opinions, discuss them, debate them amicably, and a bit of banter in there as well. Simple as that. Let's have a look at some more of your comments. Not the fans. The board overrate Rashford and McTominay with Maguire. Fair point. Fair point being made there. Terry, do you think the Ronaldo situation will affect him in regards to what the World Cup? Ronaldo? No, he's going. Like, barring injury, there's probably no one else more guaranteed a place at the World Cup than Cristiano Ronaldo. If Portugal said to him, "We're not taking you," FIFA would change their rules and allow Ronaldo to change nationalities and play for somebody else. I'm telling you, like, FIFA want him at the World Cup, so he's going to the World Cup, brother. He will be there. Terry, thoughts if Chelsea signed De Jong and also Ronaldo, where do you see them coming then position-wise? Third. If you sign those players, I see Chelsea coming third. If they sign De Jong and a goal scorer, Chelsea come third above everybody else, of course, barring Liverpool and City. They still won't have enough to catch them, in my opinion, but this season. But they'll close the gap and they'll come third. That is where I would put them. Terry, I think that if Chelsea sign Wesley Fofana, they close the gap significantly on City and Liverpool. Fofana's ball playing will only progress being a student of both Silva and Koulibaly. He's already good on the ball. Like, Fofana is already very good on the ball. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see that. I really, really wouldn't. United's third kit is as shocking as the performance. I mean, like I've said, it doesn't matter how nice Man United's kits are or bad they are. All true glazer out Man United fans won't be buying it anyway. Why would you? It's counterproductive, It's like everybody that's against climate change. They don't drive cars. Do you know what I'm saying? They don't own phones. They don't go on aeroplanes. They don't go on boats. You know what I mean? They don't use aerosols. Everybody that's against capitalism, they don't buy iPhones. They don't use banks. They don't come on YouTube. They don't use the internet. That's the way it works, right? Everyone that's opposed to something doesn't participate in it. So, of course, no Man United fan's going to buy the shirt anyway because they're all glazer out. And why would you fund the very people you want out? No one's going to do that at all. At all. It's the way it is. Terry, I'm from Belgium. Tielemans is not all as good as you think. That's from Mr. Troublemaker. Listen, bro. I mean, I've seen a lot of people say that. But there we go. We're going to have a roundup of some of the news that's come in today. Smash the like and share button. Let's go. Marcus Rashford is wanted by Paris Saint-Germain. Talks will happen with Rashford's team in Paris. This is what's being reported by a number of mainstream media outlets this morning. There are thoughts and there are feelings that United don't want to let him go. They may offer him a new deal. Some believe it's a PR attempt from Marcus Rashford to get himself a new deal at Manchester United. But the big question remains, should the club sell him or not? There are many players that could come in as replacements. You've got the likes of Anthony. Could that be back on if money is generated for Rashford? And of course, there is a situation with Gakpo. Man United could be signing him to replace Rashford. £35 million bid is said to be expected from Man United for the player. PSV, though, want to complete their Champions League qualification games before making a final decision, which puts Man United on the back foot slightly. There's talk of Youri Tielemans being annoyed with Arsenal Football Club that he hasn't yet had the official approach from the club, and he wants to know what's going on. And Chelsea, claims from Sky pundits, they're worried about Chelsea ahead of the Tottenham clash this weekend, but with a world record bid for Fofana being demanded by Leicester, Aubameyang, Cristiano Ronaldo on the agenda up front for Chelsea, many see that they will be okay over the course of this season. Remember, we are sponsored by OneFootball today, as well as all the news, statistics, league tables, and much, much more on their app. Serie A football is free to stream live, and it has highlights on throughout the whole of the season. So get it downloaded now. Link in the comment section, link in the description below as well. Plus, you can scan the QR code on the screen. Smash the like and share button. Let's go. Thank you very, very much for that, people. That's the QR code. So make sure you're getting that scanned. Serie A football for free. And I know a lot of you watch all the leagues, right? We've got a little partnership that means you can do it for free. Something weird is going. One with the Frankie saga. As a Chelsea fan, I am very happy if we get Fofana over the line and maybe one attacker, is what Arjan said. Yeah, definitely saying weird with the Frankie de Jong situation. And the word weird, I think, is the right word for it. It is very, very strange indeed. it definitely is strange. I couldn't agree with you more on that, my friend. Not to be mean, but why would PSG want Rashford? Well, of course, this is the cognitive dissonance that will set in for people who don't rate Marcus Rashford. It will be, well, why would anybody want him? He's not very good. That's your opinion that he's not very good. A lot of people in football completely and utterly disagree with the notion that Rashford isn't very good. So that this is about stepping outside of your beliefs and seeing things through some other people's eyes for a moment. So there are lots of people that think Marcus Rashford is a very good football player. That's first and foremost. Equally, and you've got to remember, PSG have got one of the best directors of football that are now appointed. So the fact they're looking at Rashford tells you there's a player in there. Man United looking to sell him isn't because Man United think he's Trashford. They don't think he's Rash Bandicoot. They don't think he's this overrated hype job that a lot of United fans do. It's whether or not they believe they can rejuvenate him, whether or not they believe they can get him back to the peak of his powers. That is essentially the big take here. That's what it's going to come down to. It really, really is. That's when we're going to know whether or not United are progressing as a club, not based on Rashford per se, but it's getting the decisions right. And getting those decisions right is very, very key. Barca have been told that if they take De Jong to court over wages, it could null and void his contract. Well, there we go. And that's what they may do. Yeah, the De Jong saga's got a long way to go still, I think, this window. A lot of journalists felt like a decision was going to be made yesterday. Well, a decision was made yesterday. He said, I'm not leaving until I get my money. And I think that's the bit that people are misconstruing here. Until I get my money, I am not leaving. And as it stands, there have been reports that Chelsea and Man United would both be willing to pay his deferred salary, but there's been no proof of that yet. There's been no proof of that yet. There's been nothing's been substantiated. There's just been reports that they'd be willing to do it. So we will wait and we will see. But people, listen, I really appreciate you all tuning in this morning to the channel to have your say and let us know what you think and feel. Before you leave, make sure you get the OneFootball app downloaded and, of course, scan the QR code as well. But until next time, my friends, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless.